Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing okay. I have a cold, first of all, so if my throat is sounding a bit weird or if you catch me sniffing, apologies. My throat especially has been really bad and I'm always losing my voice anyway, so you can imagine. It's been a couple of weeks. The last video I uploaded was the taking apart of my Hobonichi cousin. It's going well and I would like to talk about it. And then also we can look through my Filofax from the last few weeks as well, like normal. I think this is a proof of life episode. I kind of want to do a mid-year review, but I guess ideally I would have my other notebooks to show you for that. The other couple of books I used already this year. So I might wait to do that and just upload a proof of life. Especially because I have been a bit MIA, so this is a proof of life. I'm not sure where we got to. This is the week Luke and I went to the concert in my rings. I went back and added this Shake Shack Pride sticker. Kind of regret it. I found it in the front pocket on my Filofax and it was from this day, so I thought I would add it since it's relevant to the day. I don't know that I love it now that it's there. I might try and peel it back up. I don't know. Then I have the day I got my Labubu, which is actually attached to my Filofax. It's becoming kind of controversial in the time since, I think. I timed that not the best. It seems to be very polarizing. Honestly, I saw their little horrible teeth and I knew that I was down bad. I love anything that has weird sharp teeth. I'm a big fan of little demonic gremlin-y things. Some people are calling them evil. I'm kind of into that. So I don't have any regrets. Like, I can think for myself. Mine is attached to my Filofax and I really enjoy that. I've heard some people in London have had them cut off their bags and stuff, so I like to think that at least it's safe attached to my Filofax inside my bag rather than outside my bag. And I have another new keychain actually too while we're here, and this one has context. This is a bit of a weird one. Basically, a few months ago, I had this dream, a really vivid dream, that I was in Japan by myself, I guess. Like, I don't have any more context than that. I was just like in a gachapon store in Japan. And I was, holding a handful of coins and I was putting them through the machines. And in the dream, I have this vivid memory that what I was doing was collecting weird charms for my Filofax. And I think that's because I spent too much time looking at Japanese Filofax accounts. But I had this dream, and in the dream, I had this purple Listerine, which is the mouthwash I use. This purple Listerine keychain, and I thought it was amazing and I was so pleased with it, and I got the colour I wanted first try and I put it on my Filofax, and then I don't know, eventually I woke up. That morning I went downstairs to my dad and I was like, I had the funniest dream about this mouthwash keychain, like it's so silly. And he thought it was ridiculous and I was like, how silly is that dream? Like, why am I dreaming about mouthwash keychains? And then I didn't think about it for like 2 or 3 weeks, even though I thought it was cool. I didn't think about it. And then I suddenly realized that I could look for it. I was like, do you know what? There's a lot of weird keychains in Japan. I bet it exists. And I looked for it and I found it on a Canadian Etsy that is reselling Japanese gachapon, basically. And I found it and it existed, so I sent it to my dad and my brother and I was like, that keychain I dreamed about actually exists, and they were like, that's ridiculous, how can that be true? And that was kind of what happened. And then I ordered it and then the shipping said like April to September and I was like, what do you mean? And then it just never arrived, and like for like 2 months, and I for sure thought it got lost. I was like convinced it was missing. Canadian Post is unpredictable at the best of times. And I was nervous as hell, and it just came as like letter post. It was really small and it was in a tiny envelope, and then one day it just turned up, like the custom sticker was bigger than the envelope. And now it's here and it has liquid in it. Like, I don't know if you can see, but it's full of liquid and it's like a hard plastic. It's so sick. It's so silly, but like I summoned that in my dream. Like, what was I supposed to do? That is how manifestation works if you have a sleep disorder. So that's a fun little fact. That's a new addition to my Filofax. I've been collecting keychains down there and I'm really enjoying it. So moving on from that then, so I think I'm just going to start at the beginning of June because I'm a little fuzzy. I think this would have been when we last looked at stuff, although you haven't seen it yet. So I think the beginning of June is right. My calendar is pretty quiet for June. It's been busy in real life actually, it's just that when I put this together at the beginning of the month I didn't know what I'd be doing or how much stuff would be going on. And it's not even been exciting stuff, there's just been a lot of stress in the background. And it's been really hot too, which is why there hasn't been a video, because the heat in the UK, I'm not gonna, you know, do the whole thing, but it's been sucking, it's been awful. I actually developed like heat/stress related eczema on the backs of my knees, so that's really fun. The doctor was like, you just need to calm down, and I was like, okay. Like if it was that easy I probably wouldn't have developed the eczema. Looking through my weekly pages anyway, I've been kind of intermittently filling out my media log. Obviously this one is a really boring weekly note log. I was working really hard on Undermoss for most of this month as a distraction from the heat and also the stress. There's just it's like I don't know how to talk about it because it's not stuff that I can tell you about, but it's like there's just been a lot going on. And it's stuff that I have no control over, really. It's stuff that I can't do anything about. It's stuff that I can just only, like, feel about, really. Like, I just have to sit and kind of deal with it and let it happen and know that I can't do anything. And, like, I don't know, it just sucks. I was talking to my shrink about it. And she was saying, like, what do you do to de-stress? And I was like, I literally don't know anymore. Like, I just don't know. But basically, because of that, I've been hyperfixating on Undermoss, which is actually now finished. I finished the first volume, but because I was hyperfixating, I wasn't really consuming any media. So for like every alternate week, my media log is basically empty. This one is literally empty. And then I have my weekly to-do list kind of thing. I have some journal pages. This is when I was thinking about my companion book for my rings. So in the end, obviously, I settled on Punching the Cousin. But I have pictures of each of the type of Hobonichi book, and I was kind of breaking down the pros and cons. It's helpful. Sometimes I think it's really helpful. Like, I didn't actually buy a book, I don't think, for a few more days. Like, sometimes it's enough just to sit and write about it, and that can kind of help, I don't know, like, dissipate the cravings, I guess, maybe, or the fixation. Like, if you can just sit down and get all the thoughts out. And then the following week, again, it was just a lot of text. I wasn't really going out much. And when I was, it was so hot that I wasn't really taking any pictures because I was kind of just like trying to rush between places, I guess. The worst thing being, of course, that in the UK we don't even have much aircon in shops or restaurants. Like, not only do we not have it at home, but we don't really have it anywhere very much. Some newer buildings do, but older ones don't, and so like you can't even get reprieve by going to a supermarket or a coffee shop because it's just not there. But that week I did read One Dark Window by Rachel Gillig. I'm pretty late to this one, but I did really enjoy it. I was a little disappointed by the end. I don't want to ruin it, but basically I didn't realize that the ending of the first book would set up the second book to be from different characters' POVs, basically, because the first book is just from one person's perspective. And I just didn't realize that that was what I was in for in the second book. So when I started the second one, which I'm only like 20 pages in, I was really excited to see what the hell was going to happen, like how they were going to get, like, sort this out. And then I realized that, like, oh, that one character is just shelved. And I was like, oh, okay, like, I guess that's my bad for not researching it properly. But I just didn't know that would be the case. So if you've read the sequel, can you tell me if it's good, please? Because I've just been procrastinating reading it. I'm kind of gutted. And then I found out there's a different romance in the second book too, and I was like, why did I spend a book getting attached to these two characters who are completely unresolved if the second book isn't even gonna, you know what I mean? The only thing I've seen about the second book is that apparently the ending also does not really resolve much for the original two characters, which I think is why I'm kind of reluctant to read it, because I was like, oh, and there's not even any payoff at the end. Like, that kind of sucks. If you've read the second one, Two Twisted Crowns, I think is called, please let me know if it's worth it, because I'm just kind of paralyzed, I guess. Like, I just haven't picked it up because I'm like, oh, I didn't see this coming. I did enjoy the first one a lot, actually. I thought it was really cool. It was very gothic feeling. Some people said it was really slow, but I didn't think it was that slow, to be honest. I read it in like 3 days and it was, you know, there was enough going on that I kept picking it up. So I liked it. I did enjoy it. I think that's mostly what I did that week. It says I was watching documentary reruns while working on Undermoss, so that's what I was doing. And then in my daily pages, this is when I punched my cousin, so I have some photos there. I went to, oh my god, I went to the Yoshitomo Nara exhibition at the Hayward Gallery in South Bank with my friend. It was so good, really good. I went to his previous exhibition, his last exhibition, I think, in London in like 2014. I actually have a photo of me as a kid at it. And this one was just as good. It was really exciting to be able to see his work in person again because we don't get much of it in the UK. I don't think there's anything permanent anywhere in the UK of his, actually. Maybe. And anyway, this was really good. It was like a collection of work from the last like 14 years and it was fantastic. There was one of the installations of one of the little studio houses. There was some sculpture, there was a lot of paintings. It was so, so good. I do have a little footage, so hopefully I'm showing that to you on screen. And then I guess I won't say too much in case others are still waiting to see it. I don't want to spoil it. In my Filofax, I punched one of the stickers. I didn't take the sticker off the backing, I just punched the entire thing because I thought it was nice that way. And then after we went to the exhibition, we went to the Science Museum for a bit, so I have the ticket for that in there too. Yeah, it was really good. I'll probably go again, to be honest. I might go a couple of times. That's what this page is here as well. And then the following week, which I think was last week, I was just wrapping up Undermoss again, so it was quiet. Here I wrote about how 2 Twisted Crowns really spun me out and I don't know what to do or whether to read it. I was catching up on the newest season of Criminal Minds. Love it or hate it, it is a show that I've been watching since I was like 11 years old, and I have been watching the newer seasons. I actually didn't know that the reboot had started until last year when I think my hairdresser told me. I just didn't know. And I talked to Bronte about it sometimes too because I think she watches it. And this season is a lot already so far. I don't want to spoil it for anyone in case people do watch it still, but like they killed a character who is only a side character, but one that I am like personally deeply invested in. Like he's honestly my favorite character in the show, like for no good reason. Like he's just a side character. He's just someone's husband, but he's been one of my favorite characters the whole time, and I think it's because the actor wanted to leave, which is absolutely fine. From what I understand, he only signed up to do 1 episode back in 2006 or something, and now he's ended up a side character in an 18-season TV show. So completely understandable, but I was gutted. I was genuinely devastated when this happened, even though I had kind of sussed out from behind the scene leaks that it would happen. When it did happen, I was like, I can't believe they've done this to me personally. So Criminal Minds. And then I have a commonplace entry. It's like an effigy on a tombstone, or a sarcophagus. I have my to-do list. I have my work in progress for Undermoss and my colour palette that I finally organised. These are just the colours that I had been using throughout the zine, and I finally compiled them all into one palette so I didn't have to keep clicking back into old illustrations to get the colours. I don't know why I'm like this. It's just, I don't know. So on like the 4th page to the end, I finally compiled my palette, and it was very helpful. This one came with my keychain. It's just like a little, look at that. I love it. You can get all these colors. I should have got, you could get a full pack actually. I should have got a full pack, but they were quite expensive. And I was like, what am I going to do with 4 Listerine keychains? But you know, I could have worked it out. And then on here I have the photo of my keychains in my Filofax, on top of my cousin. And then this week I haven't printed anything yet because today is Thursday and Thursday is the last day on the first half of my week page. So there's no printing yet, but I do have half a ticket from the tailor. I had to get some trousers taken up because whenever I buy trousers they're always 10 feet too long for me. I'm only 5'2". I am very short. Well, not very short. There are people shorter, for sure, but I am on the smaller side. So when I buy trousers, we're talking like this much too much fabric that has to come off. Actually, when I went to try them on, he was like, how long do you need them to be? And I was like, I don't know, can I try them on? And he said, yeah. So I put the trousers on, and I came out of the changing room and I unrolled them, and I was walking like a penguin, like flopping my little fabric feet out, and he just went, goodness. Which was very humbling. So yeah, he took a lot of fabric off those. It was one pair of trousers and one pair of jeans, and both had the same problem, and like we were just laughing about it. And then later on I was paying, and this other lady came in, and like an older woman, and she was trying on linen trousers for her holiday, and she was like, oh, they're very, very long, there's too much fabric. And then he was like, they're not as long as hers, don't worry. And I was like, why are you doing this to me? So that's nice. Yes, I did want to do kind of like a mid-year wrap-up and be like, my Filofax is working really well, but I think I'm gonna save that for a bigger video, I guess, where I can show you all the books I've tried. But I do want to say that my Filofax is working really well. I feel very content. I've been in this one specifically since the beginning of April. It's like April 1st or something. Actually, no, it's not April 1st. It's the 21st of April, so it's not as long as I thought. So we're looking at maybe like 2 full months, 2.5 full months, but it is working fine. Like, I'm not having any issues. It's the perfect amount of maintenance each week because I completed an entire big project while maintaining these pages. I didn't really think about that until like a couple of days ago, but like that's surely the biggest proof that a system is working. If it's not inhibiting my other work, and also my other work is not taking away from my system, then it's coexisting, if you will. Like, my ecosystem is thriving, as the girlies are now saying. So I think it's working incredibly well, and I'm gonna be sticking with personal for the time being. I don't know. I don't know what I thought I was gonna say, but I was not gonna say forever because that's a bit much, but I'll be sticking with this going forward, I guess, until I get bored enough. But honestly, this works so well that I think I've kind of cracked it. And I'll just concentrate my floundering to my companion book. So moving into my companion book, my Hobonichi cousin, I'll try and make sure most of it's in frame. The worst thing is when I think I've been in frame or video and then I go to edit and I'm like, oh, you could not see the bottom of the book at all. It's really hard to know. So I think this is where I started it, was on the 10th of June. I think you maybe saw this page be decorated. I have this card. I have a postcard from the Oshuto Minara exhibition because I went on the 11th. I added my Filofax page on the top. And for printing these, I'm using that really awful Filofax branded paper I picked up. It's literally dated like copyright 2011, which is really annoying for using in my rings, because like why 2011 is like a really long time ago. That's very confusing for a dated planner, you know what I mean? But I'm reusing it anyway, and I'm using it in here because I think the colour match is a bit better, rather than using my really cream one. I think this is a little less obtrusive on the eyes, if you will, and I'm just kind of laying those over the top the same way I was before. I have this sticker from the exhibition. I have a price tag from the sticker. I have some other stickers layered up, and I have one down here of gyoza because we ate yo sushi for dinner. I have this translucent tissue paper that I put over the top too. I don't know, I was just having fun. And then after I had fun, I kind of chickened out, and that's why I stuck this one over the top. But I do love a good like set of layers. I really love to layer in these books, the big books, so I don't mind too much. This one keeps peeling up. I think it's because it's so hot in here. And that's also why there's not too many pages to show in here as well, actually. I've only got sort of like 8 or something. And it's because the temperature in the attic has been 36 degrees plus on a good day. On a bad day, it's been over 40 in here, Celsius. First of all, I can't breathe. Second of all, the dog can't breathe. But also it's just too hot to be writing. Like, I turned the fan and everything off now to film this video, and like my hands are like, I'm like sweaty. Not to give you TMI too much. Yeah, TMI. But it's warm. It's very warm. And it makes it really hard to write in a big book. or to sit up here and sort of like work on my books. That's why this one is so easy. But I don't know, part of me was thinking actually that it would have been helpful to have had maybe like just a month or something in the bound book of the Avec, because then I could have taken it downstairs and worked kind of like on my lap with a pen. You can't really do that with these in the same way. I feel like to be careful and to, I don't know, I think it's just my preference. I always take the pages out of the binder when I'm writing, and I feel like I can't write in this in the binder. Others probably could. I think Ellen Nim does, but I always take my pages out, always have done. And I don't feel like I can take my loose leaves downstairs to work on them. Like it's just like it's kind of just a mental barrier really. Like I could take all my stationery downstairs and do stuff, but I just don't. I prefer to work like at my table. Like my mess is like chaotically tidy in here, and I know where things are and I know what I want. And I just don't feel creative downstairs in the same way, if that makes sense. Like this is my little zone, and it doesn't extend downstairs. So I only have 8 or so pages just because it's been too hot to work. And also because I was finishing Undermoss, so it's kind of like this whole thing of like, oh, I wanted to have done more, but I kind of had things happening that were out of my control and I just couldn't. It is going well though, I do enjoy it, and also the pages are holding up fine. I've seen people asking if they're wearing out or if I feel like they need reinforcing. You could reinforce them if you want to. It would help, but so long as you're careful, like so long as you're not tearing them around, I think it's fine. Like at the end of the day, Tomoe River paper and Sans and Tomoe River paper are designed to be thin but durable, and they are like more resilient than you would probably give them credit for. So we'll see. Obviously I'm only like 2 weeks in, we'll have to see how it goes over a couple of months, but I think it's fine, honestly. So yeah, on this page I just have some, I don't know, stuff. I have a page from Undermoss that I was working on, and then I just have some text underneath it. And then this is where the hot weather started. And then I have a couple of pages here. Again, just that one commonplace page. Everything is crinkled from the heat, and a lot of my stickers are unpeeling. I think, again, because the heat in here is just melting the adhesive. Nothing has come like all the way up, it's just corners lifting, so I'm not too worried. But it is also only June, so RAP me and the actual summer, I guess. Here is where we had 4 days of like genuine blistering heat. And then here are the pages I did the other day, and I think this is all I have because of the heat. So I have this one for It's Too Hot. I was just writing about how there are no pages because of it being hot. I added some little stickers. I wrote Hot and Tired with some letter stickers, and then I have the Out of Body. I have a toast, and then I put the moon on top. And again, I really like that layering effect. And I really like that in the cousin you have space for that, because I feel like in my smaller books I don't. And I think this is why the cousin is the better choice for a companion as opposed to like an A6, even though I love the A6s. But at least in the cousin I have somewhere to file my larger ephemera, like my postcards. That means postcards now have somewhere to go again. Like this would not fit in here. And that means that when I travel places or when I see things, I can't file them in my system or in my archive. But keeping a digital A5 binder is not maintainable long term for me, for my everyday. So this kind of fills a gap in my system, which I think is perfect. Like it's serving a purpose, and it gives me somewhere to put bigger things. When I get hospital letters, I can file them in here. It'll be like when I had the A5 binders at the beginning of the year. So that's really helpful. I think I will be sticking with it, I think, because it works. I keep thinking like, oh, I don't know, maybe it's worth just using like an A6 day free and then I can use all my covers and it'll be fine, but like that's not filling a gap, if you know what I mean. What I want is somewhere to write by hand and add stickers, and I want somewhere to file the bigger stuff. Like I want a place to put that stuff, and smaller books don't offer that. Like that's not a solution. Whereas this fills a gap, so it's like I'm trying to convince myself to stick with it. Like it's and I am really enjoying it. I think the heat is just putting me off. This one was about being sick basically, because I feel bad. I put a picture of the cough syrup I've been sipping on. It's basically a non-medicinal one. I have an allergy to most decongestant medication. It makes my asthma flare up. I had to go to hospital for it once and they were like, you should not be taking that, and I was like, okay, no one's ever told me that, so I didn't know. But basically it makes my chest seize. I get like really sharp spasms in my chest, and they were like, if you took that you would die, and I was like, okay, cool. So it's basically just like sugar water, but it kind of like soothes the ache a little bit, you know, when you have a really dry cough and it's just like your throat is just raw and you can't even breathe. I've been taking that. I have the Cameo cough syrup emoji, what is wrong with me, sticker. I love it, I'm a big fan. Added that one, and the box of tissues too, and the little dead guy, and a heart too, and a star. And then I added this Pleasant Dreams one over the top because down here I was talking about how being sick is making my dreams even weirder. I'm getting a lot of sleep paralysis. And that's kind of where we're up to. Obviously I only have 1 month in here. And we're almost at the end of it because it's like the 26th today, I think. So I need to decide, this is why I've been thinking about it, because I need to decide kind of over the weekend if I'm gonna cut up the second half of my Avec. I was really hoping I would have almost a full month to test this, but the heat has really kind of scuppered me. There's enough in here to see that it works, like as a concept, but I don't feel like I found a groove, and I know it's because it's too warm. Like if it wasn't so hot every day, like even now, like it's too hot to be in here really. If it wasn't like that, I know I'd be fine. Like in the winter I think it would be flawless, but I don't know. It's a lot of work to take the books apart and I need like a few days of cooler temperatures to be able to do it, and like the weather just is not offering them to me. But I do think they look nice, and I am pleased to have somewhere to put the bigger ephemera, so we shall see. Maybe the rings, the holes are stretching out a little bit, you know, but you can reinforce them. It's not too terrible. I think I have a tool for it. I have like a little puncher that adds a little ring, but we'll see. Okay, I think that's everything I have to talk about this week. There's not too much going on, as I said. Oh, let me show you Undermoss just quickly. I think people are probably sick of hearing about it, but I did work really hard on it for more than a month, and I'm kind of proud of it. So please just allow me the... I have a test print coming tomorrow, I think, actually. I thought about waiting to film this, but I have therapy tomorrow. I go every other week at the moment, so when my weeks don't line up, if I forget to film on a Thursday, like there just won't be a video, especially with the heat over the weekends at the moment. And then after therapy I normally go swimming to try and burn off some of the angst. So again, there just won't be time tomorrow. Undermoss I think turned out well for something that started as a very niche and personal coping mechanism. It kind of spiraled out into something cool. There will be more. It's like the first in a series, hopefully, and I'm excited to make more pages. I'm actually having a hard time stopping. I finished the first volume, as I'm calling it, and then I labeled it all up and stuff, and now I'm kind of like, oh, I don't really wanna leave it. I just keep like adding notes on my phone. I basically have a list of headcanons for my own universe, and it's really fun and soothing to work on. But this is how the last few pages turned out. We kind of go back to Miles and have one last conversation with him, and we look at some of the photos. Really fun. And then for the last page we go back to the attic room. Yeah, so that's neat. Thank you to those who have read it already so far. I don't know how many of you, but it's on my website. Squarespace is actually really frustrating me. I was gonna swear. Really frustrating me because I uploaded the pictures and they looked fine to me. And then basically ended up like really compressed, and I can't work out why Squarespace is doing it. Like, what is the point of having a portfolio website if you're going to compress all my images? I can't find any settings to be able to fix it anywhere. I've been like in the back end of the website, like hunting around and re-uploading them, testing all the different methods for uploading, and nothing is fixing it. It's immensely frustrating. If anyone knows anywhere else online that I could upload them with minimal fuss, let me know. I don't want to put them on Instagram because Instagram makes everything ugly and it also compresses stuff. I just want to be able to upload my stupid little project. Like, why is it so hard? If you go onto the Squarespace site, my site, you can go, I actually added a separate section to the site for it. So if you go into the navigation, there's a section just titled Undermoss, and those pictures are slightly bigger so you can zoom in to read the text. But it's just, I don't know. Like, I'm not really very good at tech, so I'm trying my best. But yeah. Okay, I hope you enjoyed it. Apologies for the absence. I've been fighting for my life a little bit in the background, but we are persevering and I am back swimming again, which is always a relief. So next one will probably be a mid-year roundup. Let me know what you would like to see. Let me know what kind of questions you have. I don't normally do a mid-year roundup, but I feel like this year has been stable enough that I'm not super mortified to do one. So let me know what kind of things you would like me to talk about. Thank you for watching, and I will see you next time.